we still try to bring fresh people to test it, and still we have some things to polish. So yeah, I would say definitely motion.
Isn't the paradox too in VR that the more real you make the experience, the more we believe it's real, the easier it is to get kicked out of the experience when it doesn't work as a real life. So it's kind of a sweet spot in VR.
Yeah, definitely. So that's one of the things we realize soon enough. So basically, it's one of the things that keep on asking, oh, in the client it's very cool, very realistic, but you only see the hands. So yeah, it's true, you only see the hands, but there are some reasons for that. The thing is that, first of all, for gameplay reasons, we want not to be constrained by real human body at some point, right? You want to be able to reach a part or wherever. But the real thing also is that when you are in VR, you set some rules to the users. And those rules in our case is like you are in a super realistic environment, so graphically speaking it's very beautiful, very real, nice vistas, and you have just hands, and we set these rules. As long as we don't break those rules, the immersion it's complete. If we were to add an extra body and then very nicely render and everything, and for a second you saw, I don't know, an elbow doing popping or doing funny things, which is really complicated not to do when you have only one tracker, then the player will be kicked out of the immersion immediately. And that's something that really, it's for us it's more important to be immersive as to be absolutely hyper-realistic.
Do you want to, it looks like you want to jump in there.
So I guess, like for interesting what we've been trying to do, I mean obviously, yes, okay, there's going to be like discussions about motion sickness and things, but with unseen diplomacy, we don't actually move the player at all, and they just move themselves, which is great because it sort of fixes the motion sickness problem because you just move yourself, and we're changing the level in front of you and behind you secretly, so you can walk around in circles, but actually you don't feel like you are. You're moving through this massive environment, this virtual environment. However, that sort of then introduces a new problem where what happens if you're disabled? What happens if you can't move around this big space? Like, there's people in wheelchairs, there's people who are like, you can't actually see they're disabled, but they're less willing to be able to move around. There's people with potentially just one hand or no hands. How are they going to play and enjoy your game still? So in unseen diplomacy, you know, you're crawling through vents, physically getting on the floor and crawling. There's rolling underneath lasers, there's like interacting and touching keyboards and moving all around. So we're having to do things like create an alternate set of levels which still offer interesting, awesome gameplay. It's still challenging, but it's more challenging for those who are actually wheelchair bound, so it's like a restricted movement mode, we call it. Then doing things like, when we first launched the game, you had to sort of sit inside a box and put your hands together. And what we ended up doing was realising, oh, hold on, not everyone's got two hands. Do we really need people to put their hands inside the box as well? Oh, we're just having it as one, because you need one to interact with the game like this. So, like, there's still much more that we need to do, but I think that's our biggest thing at the moment. The other thing that we're quite interested in is trying to make it not seem like this antisocial activity, because you're putting a big black box on someone's face, basically. You're locking them outside from the real world. How are you going to make it a socially acceptable activity that it's fine to do this and actually you still somehow interact with your friends and family? That's our